Greetings, the posting guy here, and today we are looking at the Gigabyte G27QC monitor. The 27 stands for 27 inches. There's a G32QC, which stands for the 32-inch monitor. Now, as you probably tell from the title, but I'm going to go over some specs. This is actually a curved 2K monitor at ASUS, and some of the main specs you can see are advertised on the edge here, and I'll read up here. We got 1 millisecond response time for the mouse. It's not actually 1 millisecond, but it just advertises a faster mouse speed response. 165 hertz whenever you overclock this monitor. 1500 curvature, so it's a very light curvature. It's not an extreme curvature. It has, FreeSync Premium, but it is G-Sync compatible. So you do turn on the G-Sync, it will work. You might have some kinks on certain apps and programs, but that feature does exist. And then other things, HDR ready, ODS Sidekick, which is like a on-screen helper function, etc., etc. And so anyways, we're going to start unpacking this bad boy, and along the way I will tell you why I have found this to be the best 27-inch curved 2K monitor according to all my research. And so starting off, first of all, I love the box. It's really hefty, big, and well protected considering the price point you pay, along with a very nice handle. And so starting with the unboxing, again, the unboxing experience is very positive. And what I mean by that is one of the first things you see at the top is a list of instructions, as well as like this side up. Some of the other monitors that I got and received, it was just there's no instructions, or it wasn't this enjoyable of an unboxing experience, or it didn't feel as protected as this does. And so this is basically telling us that we're going to open this thing up first, and then immediately they have a pull icon right here, and this is where the whole monitor sets and rests. And so you stick your hand in here, and you're going to slide this bad boy out, and it slides very easily, I might add. So once you slide it all out, this box can be set aside for your pet's enjoyment, like a cat. And starting off, what we have first is actually several large compartments, and this is actually really nice because when I was moving around a little bit with this monitor, it was really nice that they had so much protection, but they didn't make it out of solid foam. This really helps put your power cords in here, I put my microphone in here, all kinds of stuff to make it an additional storage movement, which was really great. You got an HDMI cable, you got a DisplayPort cable right here, and then you have your USB 3.0 downward stream. So you plug the monitor into your computer so that you can then use a software to control your monitor's brightness, different settings and stuff like that. And then they give you, this is a little strange, 3 different power cords. They give you, I believe there's an American power cord, there's an Australian power cord, and then there's one more. I'm not sure if I don't know what this one is for. I might put it up on the screen. But they give you 3 power cords, which is kind of weird and a little bit of a waste in one sense. But, I mean, hey, I now own 3 different power cords for this thing. And so that's all that in the top compartment. And then you also have your instructions as well as, like, quick start guide. Over here is the base that comes with it. It's just a very simple flat base. And so we're going to go ahead and unpackage that. We have our base. Set all this aside. Very simply, all you do is lift this thing up, and then now you got access to the monitor itself. Now, one thing to note is that this is, I don't know the right terminology for it, but basically it is spring/gravity fed, held up vertically, meaning as soon as we take off some of these components, this thing is going to slam backwards. And so that's one thing you want to be aware of as you're unboxing this. So there's a piece of foam underneath that you're going to take out, and then we're going to take off all this protection stuff, and do take your time with it because you're gonna want to make sure you're able to kind of, reassemble it nice in case something's wrong with your monitor. And so one other thing is there is a plastic bit right underneath here. You can feel it as a vertical slit, and they have these beautiful warning symbols saying, hey, there's a plastic bit you need to take out. And so what I do to make it really easy, because it's really taut and tight, you push upwards and then you pull down on the plastic bit, and here's the plastic bit I was telling you about, and then this thing kicks straight out. And so that's what I meant by the spring/gravity fed. This is really strong, and it's not going to go anywhere without this, or until you set it up, push it down. This is my assistant Albus, who is helping me out right now. Hello, Albus. Hello. Are you inspecting the goods? So what you want to do now is actually, before you take this thing out, you're going to want to tilt it upwards and get your base. And this is something that's a little bit of a downside to this, is I feel like the base could be a bit better. It feels like kind of scary thinking, oh, this all it does, you just do that. You slide it on the little slits and then you screw it in, and that's it. There is nothing else to this base. It is secure. I mean, obviously, as I've been using this before and have tested it out, I've had no issues with it. But with that setup, and with Albus' permission and inspection, you can now pull this thing out. I grab it from the middle where the anchor is, kind of slide it all apart, and then you can gently set it down. And for the grand reveal. So some other features relating to this, the first thing I'm going to start off with is the mounting and movement. It does have a VESA mounting 100 by 100 system, so you are able to actually mount this to a portable arm mount and all that kind of stuff, like a portable monitor arm and all that kind of stuff. And so that is coming in the back of here. And then movement system, the only thing it does do, it only does vertical movement. It goes really, really low though. Like it's very, very low if you need that for some reason. Albus, you're in the way. So it does go really low, and then it of course goes all the way up to the top. And so you got a very good height difference of probably about 6 inches. And then it of course also has a slight tilt forward and upwards, more dramatic upwards, not so much tilting down. There is no rotation to this, which might be a con for some people, but I'm not really sure if you would need rotation for this. And the reason for that is because this is a curved monitor. You need it in front of your face. You cannot have a curved monitor really off to the side, or else you're going to have some issues with your peripheral, and I'll get into that in a little bit regarding VA panels. And then, as I mentioned before, this is essentially spring/gravity controlled. So once you push it down, it's all good to go. But you really want to be careful that as soon as you either pick the monitor up from here, it's going to lock up and go all the way up, or for whatever reason, you try to pick it up from the middle and move it. Like if you start tilting this thing down, it's going to spring back in place. You just want to be careful with that kind of mechanism in place if you're moving around, whatnot. Now, because it's a curved monitor, the way they accomplish this is using a VA panel. And a lot of things you'll hear is VA versus IPS. And there's huge differences between the two of them. They're not one and the same. You can't say, I wish I had a IPS panel curved, or I want a VA curve flat. That doesn't exist. And so the biggest thing is the VA lets it be curved. And curvature, in my personal experience, is really, really cool. It gives it a lot more of an enclosed feeling, and it gives you a lot more of an immersive experience. Where I found with the 27-inch of the same size, it is a lot more, your eyes have to move more. Whereas with this, it kind of brings it in towards you, and it's not that kind of sensation of needing to actually look around. Another thing about a VA panel, a Pro over an IPS, is that it does have better contrast, and so you're going to get a lot better of the contrast colors and all that kind of stuff. But it does have not that great. The problem with VA is that it does have ghosting issues. And what I mean by that, if you had a kind of a square right here, and then it were to start suddenly move to the other side of the screen, depending on the hertz rates and depending on kind of like the color differences and whatnot, you might see other images behind it. Ghosting is what it's called. You don't get that issue on IPS panels. However, that is just a given. You're not going to be able to get a curved IPS, and you're not going to be able to get a amazing non-ghosting performance on a curve, because that is just the nature of a curved screen and the panel that they put into it. However, in my experience, when I'm doing gaming and video editing and all that kind of stuff, I really don't see ghosting that much. It's not much of an issue for me, and so I really wouldn't recommend like an average gamer such as myself, even though I do stream and record, to really worry about it, because it's not that noticeable where it's taken away from the experience. But if you're something maybe of a FPS Pro gamer or an FPS Pro person, you might want to be aware that ghosting is a lot more prevalent an issue on here than it is on an IPS panel. Now, another question I was thinking a lot for myself for the research and everything is 27-inch versus 32-inch. And the reason why I went with 27-inch 2K is because you get a true 2K experience with the pixels per density. If you go up to a 32-inch, you lose that pixel per density, and it actually starts becoming a bit more closer to a 1080p monitor at a larger size. And so That's where you kind of have to determine whether or not you really want a 32 over a 27. And my recommendation for that is very simply go to Best Buy, Walmart, Target, or an electronics store and just sit in front of the different display models and see like the sizes at 27 inch versus a 32 inch. Like when I saw a 27 inch, I was like, this is perfect between a 24 and a 32. I like that, and I like the pixel density that came with it as well. So this monitor has many ports in the back of it. This port starting off right here is your USB down port. This is where it connects to your computer so that you can control the brightness and the various settings through a software. These are the two USB 3.0 ports. Those can just allow you to kind of charge your devices or use non-essential peripherals. I would not recommend plugging your laptop and stuff into here just because it's not a instantaneous access to your desktop or computer. Over here you have the audio jack port from the speakers. This does have speakers, however they're not great, but they're something if you just need to quickly share video or something. We do have one display port and two HDMI ports, which gives you a lot of options as far as what you want to be able to plug into the monitor. And then the far right hand side, that was the left hand side we were just looking at, this is where the power goes into. So it's very nice that it's just a straight line power that you're able to expand or buy a larger cord without needing like a specialty power block. And then it's located over here. On the other side is the little joystick I was mentioning. There's no other buttons, it's literally just this one joystick to go in, click in the center, move up and down and back. Very handy, very simple to use. And the reason I say this is the best one because I did a lot of research related to rtings, and that's a monitor website that does really great in-depth reviews, and I will leave them a link in the description towards that. You can check out this monitor. And then the direct competitor for me in all my research was the ASUS TUF Gaming VG27WQ1B. It has pretty much all the same specs as this one. It's 165 Hz, it has 2K curved, it has FreeSync Premium. However, when I bought those two monitors and compared them side by side, this one was just better. It was kind of better color out of the box and more color control. It also had way more brightness than the other one did. And so that was a huge factor for me considering that, especially since those were pretty much the side-by-side comparison. And I do believe the pricing on this was better. I got this Black Friday like forever ago. And so that's why I went with the Gigabyte instead of the ASUS. And so that's why I say that this is the best 2K curved monitor for the price point, for all the features, and then especially just for what it gives you as a 2K curved. And as a reminder, you cannot compare, you can't say in the in the description, oh, should I get an IPS or a VA? You have to ask yourself, do you want a curvature or do you want flat? And then you just go in that realm and go in that direction. Thank you so much for watching my opinions and review on the G27QC by Gigabyte. And if you do enjoy this video, thought it was informative, please do drop a like or comment if you have any questions I can help out with you before it gets buried in a flood of videos. Or if you really enjoy the content and want more kind of similar content, please do consider subscribing to help grow the channel into what it can become. And I do enjoy doing these kind of reviews, and I hope to continue to do these reviews in the future. Thank you very much and have a great day.